Okay, welcome. So now comes that time of the year. We take a look at the schedules and do our predictions for the upcoming season. This is a bit early. It's May of 2017, and I'm going to take a look at the New York Jets schedule and go through game by game predictions. First, let's just talk a little bit about 2016. So in 2016, the New York Jets were 5-11. Originally, I had them going 9-7, and some people said that I was too pessimistic because they were coming off a season in which they were 10-6. But I always remember that the definition of fan is fanatic, meaning we don't always see things clearly. And I wasn't going to increase my prediction just to please those fans. And this year, I'll tell you, my prediction is actually lower than it was last year based on the fact that the Jets went 5-11, but we'll get more into 2017 in a minute. But in terms of 2016, I think most of us knew that the Jets were going to have some difficulty early on because the first 6 games that they played, 5 of them were against playoff teams. The only one that wasn't a playoff team was the Buffalo Bills. And I'll just read you those first 6 games that the Jets played in 2016. It was the Bengals, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Seahawks, the Steelers, and the Cardinals. So most of us thought, wow, that's a pretty tough schedule, and they should have some tough games early on, but then things should get a lot better. So the Jets actually were 1-5 after their first 6 games last year. I had them at 2-4. I didn't necessarily have the mix of the games right, but I was close in terms of their overall record. So the surprises really came later on when they played teams like the Miami Dolphins. And I had the Jets beating the Dolphins twice. And actually what happened is the Dolphins beat the Jets twice. We've seen really a better Miami Dolphin team than we've seen in some times. Miami Dolphins actually went to the wild card playoffs. They did lose to the Steelers, but really a better Dolphin team than we've seen in some time. I also had them splitting with the New England Patriots. In the past, the Jets had a formula that worked pretty well against the Patriots, meaning run the football and play good defense, and if you can, keep Brady off the field. And generally, that worked pretty well. But last year, the New York Jets lost twice to the Patriots. The first time 22-17, and the second time 41-3. Ouch. Okay, so with that in mind, let's get to the 2017 season. So overall, I got to tell you, I have the Jets at 4-12. Now, sorry, Jet fans, and I am a Jet fan. I want to be clear about that, but have the Jets solved their basic problem of offense and their quarterback situation? In my opinion, no. Their quarterbacks are, as far as I can see right now, Josh McCown, Bryce Petty, and Christian Hackenberg. And while I have nothing bad to say about either Bryce Petty or Christian Hackenberg, other than the fact that they're a bit green, a couple of years from now, they may be quite good. Josh McCown, his record in the past few years is not too good, and I don't think he's the answer for the Jets. He may simply be the best available quarterback that's out there, but the Jets basically have not solved their problem of being able to put up points on the board. They have had a pretty good defense in the last few years, but they've not been able to put up points on the board. Okay, so I have the Jets going 4-12 in 2017. The teams that they would beat would be the Jaguars, the Browns, the Bills, once, and the Chargers. Okay, so now let's go through game by game here. So Jets open up against the Bills. This is in Buffalo, and I have the Jets losing this particular game. I'll have the Jets winning the later game in Buffalo when the Jets played Buffalo at MetLife. But opening up here, this one is in Buffalo, and this game is a game that could go either way, but I'm going to give this game to the Bills. Okay, next game is at the Oakland Raiders. If the Oakland Raiders look anything like the Raiders did in 2016, the Raiders looked great up until Derek Carr got hurt, and that, of course, hurt them, but Raiders should look really good. I'm going to give this one to the Raiders. Next game against the Miami Dolphins. This is at MetLife Stadium, but Dolphins have been surging lately and playing really well. I'm going to give this one to the Dolphins. So at that point, I'd have the New York Jets 0-3. And then now we start to get into the portion of the season where it starts to get a little bit easier for the New York Jets, playing the Jacksonville Jaguars at MetLife. So I'm going to go with the Jets here. I just think that Jacksonville, while they have a decent quarterback, Blake Bortles, they don't have a whole lot else from what I can see. So I think this game goes to the Jets. Next game is at the Cleveland Browns. In my opinion, the Cleveland Browns are the worst team in football, and they still don't have their act together. So I'm going to go with the New York Jets here. Okay, now we've got the Patriots. As I said before, the Patriots, generally the Jets have a formula that works pretty well against the Patriots, but I'm going to say that the Jets are going to lose both games to the Patriots this year. Patriots simply have too much firepower on offense for the New York Jets. Patriots don't have a great defense, but it's good enough, and their offense is terrific. So this game goes to the Patriots. Okay, next game at the Miami Dolphins. As I mentioned before, I think the Dolphins are on upswing, and that Dolphins should win this one. Okay, next game against the Atlanta Falcons. If the Falcons look anything like the team that played in the Super Bowl in the first half of the Super Bowl, where Matt Ryan was just hitting receiver after receiver on every part of the field and mixing up his passes really well, confounding even the Patriots defense, that the Falcons should be a very good team in 2017, and I have the Falcons beating the Jets in this one. Okay, next game is Buffalo Bills. It's a home game for the New York Jets at MetLife Stadium, so I am going to take the New York Jets here. Okay, next one is at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, at first glance, I looked and I said, well, Jets should be able to beat the Buccaneers here. But the Buccaneers actually, in 2016, were 9-7, second in the NFC South. So I'm thinking, while this is one of those games that could go either way, I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Bucs here. Okay, next game, Carolina Panthers. Well, I don't believe that Cam Newton has quite the magic that he did a few years ago. The Panthers should be good enough to beat the Jets. I'm going to go with the Panthers here. Next game, Kansas City Chiefs. And I've said in the past that the Chiefs are a similar team to the New York Jets. They don't put up a lot of points, but they do have a really good defense. But I still think Alex Smith, while people criticize him for being a game manager, he doesn't take a lot of risk, he doesn't throw the long ball, but he doesn't fumble and he doesn't get intercepted a lot. And the Chiefs should have enough to beat the New York Jets. Okay, so I'm going with the Chiefs. Okay, next game at the Denver Broncos. Now, Broncos quarterback, from what I can see, is either Trevor Siemian or Paxton Lynch, and Broncos still should have a great defense, so I'm going to go with the Broncos here. Next game at the New Orleans Saints. Saints historically play very well in the Superdome, and Saints are a great team, still with Drew Brees. I'm going to go with the Saints. Next game is the Los Angeles Chargers, no longer the San Diego Chargers. Chargers were 5-11 last year. Once again, this is one of those games that could go either way. The Chargers still have Phil Rivers, but I think the Jets may be able to take the Chargers here. So I'm going to say the New York Jets are going to take this one. It is a home game for the New York Jets. And the last game of the season is on New Year's Eve against the New England Patriots at New England. And I say this one goes to the New England Patriots. So, just to sum up the New York Jets wins for 2017, once again I have them going 4-12, beating the Jaguars, beating the Browns, beating the Buffalo Bills once, and beating the Los Angeles Chargers. Okay, this is John, and thanks for watching.